This happened to my friend a while ago, and it still gives me the creeps. My friend John was driving home from work one night. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being followed. He glanced in his rearview mirror, but all he saw was the usual stream of headlights from the cars on the highway. But the feeling persisted like a nagging voice in the back of his mind. He picked up his pace, merging onto the next exit and taking a series of turns to lose the supposed tail. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake the sensation that someone was still following him. Finally, he pulled over at a convenience store and got out of his car to take a look around. Scanning the parking lot, he saw a sleek black car idling a few spaces down, its driver staring intently at John's car. John's heart raced as he realized that he had been right all along. Someone had been tailing him. But why? And who was it? He quickly got back in his car and drove off, determined to lose the tail once and for all. But as he drove, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, and the black car remained a constant presence in his rearview mirror. As he drove home, John's mind raced with possibilities. Had he accidentally witnessed something he shouldn't have? Was someone trying to hurt him? Or was it all just a coincidence? Whatever the reason, John knew he had to be careful. He had a feeling that his life was about to take a very unexpected turn. Or so he thought. You see, he made it home safely, but it all felt so real to him. I always see a dark figure in my room. It started when I was 10 years old, and I would see it there, lurking in the shadows with two eerie yellow glowing eyes. It stood at an imposing height, almost 8 feet tall, but some nights it seemed even taller, closer to 10 feet because it was always hunched over. I am currently 24, a single female named Jessie, and last night the dark figure finally touched me. For years, this mysterious entity had been a part of my life, a presence I couldn't escape. It would stand at the foot of my bed, its eyes fixed on me, and I could feel its malevolent gaze pierce through my very soul. I tried to explain it away as a trick of the shadows or my overactive imagination, but deep down, I knew something was terribly wrong. Over time, the fear of this looming figure became a constant companion, one that kept me up at night and left me feeling utterly vulnerable. I lived in a state of perpetual dread, always on edge, never knowing when the next encounter would occur. Friends and family dismissed my stories, attributing them to nightmares or anxiety, but I knew better. This was no ordinary nightmare. This was my daily reality. As the years went by, I became an insomniac, fearing the moment when sleep would finally claim me. The dark figure grew more daring, gradually inching closer each night, its unsettling presence more palpable. I felt its cold breath on my neck, heard its faint, ominous whispers, and sometimes it even seemed to caress my face with ghostly fingers, making my skin prickle with terror. One fateful night, I lay in bed, unable to escape my fear. The room was unusually cold, and the dark figure's eyes gleamed with a sinister intensity. My heart raced, knowing that something was different this time. As I trembled under the covers, I watched in horror as the figure inched closer and closer, its grotesque silhouette becoming clearer with every passing second. I couldn't move. Fear had me paralyzed, and all I could do was watch as it drew near. Its hulking form loomed over me, and then it happened. The dark figure reached out, its shadowy hand making contact with my arm. A shiver ran down my spine as its frigid touch sent shockwaves through my body. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my trembling lips. The room plunged into darkness, and the figure seemed to absorb all the light. It was as if I had been swallowed by an abyss of pure malevolence. Panic surged through me, and I fought to free myself from its grasp. Finally, I managed to break free, scrambling out of my bed, my heart pounding like a drum. The room was empty, but the oppressive aura lingered. I knew I couldn't stay in that place any longer. I left that night, never to return to my haunted room. The dark figure that had haunted me for years had become more than just a frightening presence. It had become a part of my life, a part of my nightmares. I couldn't explain it, and I still can't. But one thing is for sure, that chilling touch left a permanent scar on my soul. It It serves as a chilling reminder that some things are better left unexplained, lurking in the shadows of our deepest fears, waiting for the moment they can touch us and remind us that we are never truly alone in the dark. The story that I am going to tell happened during the pandemic. I was a master's student and had 2 semesters left to finish my degree. Then, unexpectedly, the pandemic hit us. We were all stuck in our homes, and our university authority decided to conduct the classes through Zoom. Not gonna lie, I was happy. I am an introverted person. I don't like to go outside that much. I was so glad that I could attend all my classes and meetings from home. I got very lethargic during that time. If I had class at 10 a.m., I would wake up at 9:50 a.m. Then I would sit down with my coffee to attend class. There were some days when I just joined the Zoom while lying down. I didn't even bother to keep my camera on. One semester passed this way. We were getting used to this process. In our next semester, I enrolled in a new class. There was something so jolly about our professor. He would try his best to keep the whole class engaging. He loved to tell jokes and inspired us to connect more during class time. We even started to join the class with the camera on. He was so charismatic. We were amazed by the way he spoke, cracked jokes, explained a topic, and communicated with us. We didn't even realize when the class ended. We always wished the classes were longer. Typically, I can't keep my attention on the same thing for a long time, but during his class, I was always focused. The whole class was his fans. He always had so many new ideas to keep us engaged through Zoom. At one point, he started a new thing, which was using funny and interesting Zoom backgrounds. The entire class would laugh every time he appeared with a new Zoom background. Even there was competition among everyone who had the best Zoom background. I used to wonder what it would be like if I were charismatic and loved like that. It is impossible to pick me as a favorite. I admit I was a bit envious of him as well. One day he was teaching, and we were, as usual, amazed by his lecture. Suddenly, a peculiar thing occurred. For some reason, his Zoom background was not working properly. For a few seconds, the background glitched, and I noticed something behind him. Through the camera, it seemed like a horrible-looking face. While we were processing this situation, the professor rose abruptly and left the room. He was nowhere to be seen via the camera. The Zoom background disappeared, and the real view of the room became visible. Now I realize we never saw his real room or background. Everyone from the camera saw someone or something sitting in the dimly lit room. The individual didn't look normal. He glanced at us, and we saw he was holding a large, sharp knife in his hand. His mouth was never closed, and his extended tongue was out, which was touching his chin. There was a red light hanging from the ceiling, and it was moving from one side to another. Under that light, we saw countless mannequin figures standing in the room. Everyone started screaming. Later, we never saw our favorite professor. He just vanished into thin air. Nobody was found at his place, but I can still remember that face behind him. Some nights I have nightmares and I see the thing scrutinizing me while having its dangling tongue out. Hello, I'm the creator of this video. I would like to thank everyone for watching. This is my first ever video I've ever made, and I even edited it. It was way harder than I expected, and it took way too long time to make it. I would like to thank the people who allowed me to use their stories in this video. You'll find the post in the description below. If you enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you and have a good night. Or day.